eyes dare to see all the greatness I possess, endless possibilities. Look in the mirror, what do I see?
Welcome to another segment of the Seek Elevation Experience. Man, today's topic, the creator economy, ownership, and the illusion of independence. Where do I want to start? First of all, I'm a content creator, so I had to touch on this topic. Amongst many things, one of the things I do is obviously create content. But some of the most valuable or most visible creators in the world do not actually own their business. So as someone who's always talking about ownership and someone who uses her platform to talk about ownership, amongst many other things, I wanted to cover this. Some of the most visible creators don't own their businesses. They own access. Plenty of access. But access can and has been revoked. So if you are a content creator, I want you to listen to this. If you are consider yourself a social media influencer and you use those platforms to create and to share and to spread information, I want you to understand the real importance of ownership while you're doing so. Because when access is revoked, it's not, especially when it's not paused, it's not negotiated, it's just pulled. It's not, well, I'm reaching out to you, let's talk about a situation or the issue, let's negotiate what's going on. No, it is just revoked. Straight out revoked. I see it all the time. And if you are in the content world, I'm sure you have too. And if you have not, just do a Google search. You'll see so many individuals, notable individuals, or up and coming individuals who have had their platform revoked. And when that happens, especially if you're monetizing, not just monetizing on the platform itself, like getting money from the platform, but using those platforms to get sponsorships and other ways just to get paid, your income disappears. The audience disappears. The leverage disappears. And so many people are always shocked, constantly, always shocked, because they thought visibility meant I have complete control. I became big. This is great. This is my thing. I can have control over this because this is my thing. Visibility doesn't equal control. But this is not just a creator's problem. We're going to talk about content creators today. This is not a creator's problem, creator economy problem alone. This is an ownership problem. So whatever information I talk about today, copy paste. And whatever you are doing, copy paste. When you think one thing gives you control in what actually it's ownership that has to give you control, copy paste. And all information I talk about today obviously is not about anti-creator, because again, I am one. This is about not owning, and understanding owning applies to everything across the board. Whatever you're doing, understand ownership and control through your ownership what you want to actually do. Because if people's entire business collapse when someone else just changed a policy, changes access, you never owned a business, you never will own anything. So you're just renting momentum. And the creative economy is full of people confusing the two. So let's get into it. Welcome to Seek Elevation. I am attorney Ella Keisha, also known as the Empowerment Influencer. Yes, I am an attorney, but I am not your attorney, because if I do not know your situation, then I cannot advise you on your situation. But I am giving you information for you to learn, to become better, to dig deeper, and to just take these gems and elevate. And if you do end up needing legal advice, go find whoever it is that can take you to the next level with that. But right here is a space where I help individuals elevate, transform, and to get clarity. And I advocate for individuals who are creative, sports professionals, and founders, especially first gen achievers, because I am one. But yes, here is where, I empower people who are rising, redefining themselves, and who decided they want to step into their highest potential. Those people who want to become the highest versions of themselves. That's why you are here, to seek more elevation and own every step of the journey. So if you are building, creating, leading, or evolving, you are in the right place. Another week, another Tuesday. So let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, man. Logan Paul, PewDiePie, Jackie Aina, Summer Rae. Hey. The TikTok creators in general. Why am I saying those names? Why am I naming those individuals? It's because those are the individuals that have always been, or at least for some time, have been at the top of their game on social media and were affected by the very things that I talked about in the opening. They were affected by algorithm changes. They were affected by brand deals being paused on them for whatever reasons that happened. They lost money. Advertisers have pulled back. Some of them have been banned. The list goes on. And like I said, if you just Google, if you just do your research, you'll find more individuals, obviously, than what I name. You'll find a list of individuals who were affected by focusing on visibility and access versus ownership. We've all seen it, and it will continue to happen if we don't talk about it and what we need to do. I mean, because creators, that's what we focus on, right? We learn more and more how to get more subscribers, because we think that leads to more eyes leads to more sales, or leads to, like I said, just monetization on platforms. But we do it when we skip everything else. We do it and end up at the mercy of the platforms. It is not good to be locked out of your account. How many times do I see so many people? I was on IG a few times here recently, and two individuals. One was a business owner that sold hair products and tied in the way she show up on IG with grabbing the attraction, had a disagreement, claimed that the person she had a disagreement with targeted her page, made false claims, got it taken down. She had to create another page real quick to let everybody know, I lost everything. There was this couple, I cannot think of their name, that's on IG, husband and wife, really funny, but their page, they said, got hacked. They couldn't get into their page. Everything was frozen. They were losing all types of opportunities. And so many people they ask, how could this happen? How could this happen to these people? They're so big. Aren't these platforms supposed to protect them? They're huge. Even if they can't protect themselves, don't the platforms protect them? No, this happens. This happens a lot, and it happens everywhere. And access makes individuals feel safe. I'm known a lot, seen a lot. It feels like I gained a lot, and I feel safe. But even those who are seen a lot, known a lot, gained a lot, they're not the exception. It's any of us using these platforms. You know what hurts a lot more too is on your path of going up, something happens. Sometimes people don't even understand the rules of engagement of certain platforms. You got to really understand, like even YouTube. If certain things are said, your page can get taken down. They have a whole policy list that you're supposed to study and understand if certain words are said. Sometime if you go live and you invite guests, they can actually say things or do things that get your page affected. People uploading songs that they thought they had a right to do it may get copyright strikes. Sometimes they're warning, sometimes it's completely taking your page down. The list goes on. So there's no exceptions. Just looking at those who are really visible, they're a preview of what can happen, but they're not the exception. It's anyone who use platforms. Anyone. So we have to think about, as content creators, understand that I'm creating content. I like to entertain, I like to educate, I like to do all these things, but it is a service that I'm providing. So in the service I'm providing, I am actually running a business. And in running a business, I have to do all the things that are necessary to establish a business, making sure I have the right entity structure, making sure I protect all of my IP that's actually being used, and making sure that I have a backup platform and backup source where I can redirect and drive people to immediately to not cause disruption. You can have things, multiple platforms going on simultaneously. And if there's is any hiccup on one platform, you have one that you have more control over. Having your own website, you have more control over any platform that is going to ding you for what you're saying and not saying. Of course, websites can crash in general, right? Your website can go down, but it's not someone taking something from you. And even if that did happen, if that was to happen, you still want to have everything backed up so that if you need to pivot, all you need to do is just dump here. Also, as an owner, the mindset we need to have is you're not just having one-sided engagement. You're not just information dumping. You are relationship exchanging. You should have a way where you are getting access to contact access to those who are watching and joining, not just subscribe, but what are you actually sharing? What are you actually engaging in where you can exchange contact information if something was to happen? How are you getting emails? Are you sharing information where individuals can maybe share their email to get some type of download? Are you having your information in your description where your website is or how other methods of contacting you are? Not just sharing information. That's the ownership mindset. We want to make sure you are not just coming out here giving information. You are giving information and you are exchanging. Yeah, so I had to send something real quick. So you want to make sure that you're thinking like an owner. And that's the uncomfortable truth. That's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of us just want, especially if you're creative, we don't want to think about all that extra business side of it. I'm just a creator. I want to come in and just create and just share. Why? Everything else. Why? Because what you are sharing and what you are doing, you are gifted at it. And I hope that you are doing it to use your gift to make room for you in this life. You're giving a gift for a reason, to make room for you. So treat it as such. Don't do it just to become famous. And I hear that a lot. A lot of people do it just to become famous. Don't do anything just to become famous. Fame doesn't override Fame doesn't override structure. Visibility does not replace ownership. And popularity does not create any type of protection. And of course, you know me, as the ownership attorney, one of the protections I'm going to talk about is legal protection. As creators, we don't think about that. We just go out and we just create and we put out, and we don't think about, are all the things in place, especially legal protection. If we look at some of the visible creators I talked about and things that were taken or lifted or halted, they didn't have legal protection when it came to that, and how to recoup those particular things, or how it's affected. Or look at the flip side, not understanding legal support and advice when you are creating and then you do something or make a decision to do something that gets your whole platform taken down. That's part of legal too. Legal advice and support to say, hey, make sure you do this, make sure you don't do that. Do you have someone you can call, say, hey, I'm thinking about, dropping this video and it has this particular content in it. Is this okay? You have to think like an owner. You have to think like an owner, and not the illusion of that we have as creators, this illusion that I am independent because I'm a creator and I'm creating this economy of freedom of speech, freedom of movement. It's marketed. The creator economy is marketed as freedom. As a matter of fact, just like entrepreneurship, when you hear about, oh, become a content creator, especially, things are taking off on TikTok, you can make the millions. Move this way on YouTube, make millions. You can become free from everything. This is where your freedom lies. So the creator economy, just like entrepreneurship in general, is marketed as freedom. Freedom from bosses, freedom from schedules, make your own schedule, freedom from all the different type of gatekeepers. But structurally, if you don't have the things in place, you don't have the information you need to have to understand the difference between access and control at all, you're not independent. It's not a place or space for freedom. It's a place and space for being trapped. You are actually considered a user. We call ourselves a creator. You call yourself a creator, but if you have these things in place, you're a consumer. You are a consumer. And that matters. There's a difference between the two. So operating with an ownership mindset, being structured, business-wise, legal-wise, understanding your platforms, having all the things laid out to make sure you're pushing and driving and really controlling and gathering information. All of those things help you to become an owner. That helps you become an owner. Because as long as you are using platforms where you're not negotiating in terms and you're just accepting terms, be honest with yourself right now. Be honest with yourself. Think about the platforms you're on right now. How many of you have actually reviewed the terms of those platforms? Completely reviewed the terms of what you can do, what you can't do, what you can own and what you can't own, even out of the things that you create. How many have done it? And if you have done it, now, how many of you have negotiated those terms? Exactly. You operate under permission, not control. So because you operate under permission and not control, you need to control the things you can control when that permission actually affects you. When that permission now turns into what you're told is going to happen. And sometimes, like I said, some people aren't even told. They just wake up and find out, I can't get into my account. And they're trying to find out, who can I contact? What department? How can I recover my account? So it's important to have ownership mindset, especially, again, not just with just being told. You don't own your distribution. You don't own, because when we talk about monetization, let's talk about this, especially with YouTube. Once you reach a point where you can monetize and you can put, choose what type of promotions, commercials, and things in there you can make money from. YouTube also chooses what they want to plug and play into your content. YouTube also chooses it without your permission. I want to run this commercial in here. How many times have you seen, or it happened to you, a video and all of a sudden there's tons of commercials that's running in there, and it's not the actual content creator who selected those commercials. Those commercials was plugged in there. That is not owning your monetization access. That's not you controlling enforcement. I've seen so many responses where people say, I'm sorry that's disrupted, and that's not my control. I'm sorry that the commercials are disrupting this message. That is not me. There's no due process using someone else's platform. And so, again, those distinctions matter when you think about, what do I need to do to control? If you start to not like something, speaking of Jackie Aina, that's what she did. Go research her. She did a whole YouTube video on just how she just got tired of the platform, feeling like she was being suppressed in the algorithm. Feel like she had amazing, great content when you matched her up to her counterparts, but certain people were being promoted and certain people not. And she was like, I'm getting off YouTube. I'm using these other platforms plus my platform. And she took more control over her business. She became more of a businesswoman too, not just sitting in front of the camera making content, but using that content to open up other doors, and doors that allowed her to walk in other avenues. Just started thinking more like an owner and not a content creator. She realized, I can't have my income depending upon just this algorithm that is completely out of my control. And I have these brand deals, which are great, but if my brand deals are completely tied to platform delivery, and then all of a sudden my platform is affected and I can't deliver, what does that look like too? That means have an ownership mindset when you negotiate these brand deals. That goes back to what I was saying earlier, that if you are operating like a business, you have that legal support, because it's more than sitting in front of this camera making content. But now I have to think 20 steps ahead of, what is this content doing for me? Why am I doing this? What am I setting myself up for? And so when I do brand deals, if this content takes off, I'm going to do brand deals where it's not tied to this thing. And if this thing is interrupted or fail, everything else does. I have to have a better conversations. I have been approached so many times to do so many different type of deals. And of course, given what I do outside of creating content, because that's not my full-time job, content is another avenue for me to share the information. But what I focus on is legal contracts, intellectual property, business structure. I know how to handle these things. I'm thinking from a business perspective. I'm a business professional who makes content, not a content professional who's trying to get some business. And so when I have so many deals, I'm looking at, oh yeah, nope. And I know I'm not negotiating these YouTube terms. That's why I have so many other platforms. I have all the things I need in place to make sure I have access and control, complete control of my content. I push it out on so many different platforms. I use my website as well. I gather information, contact information as well. I do all of the things. And when individuals come to me to offer any type of deals, I'm reading it through and through to see if it makes sense. I was offered deals to bring this empowered cast to other platforms. I'm like, yeah, no. Let me see what IP, my intellectual property, looks like. Let me see how you're making money versus I'm making money. I don't mind all of us eating, but we all have to eat very well, especially if I'm the creator, if I'm the business owner. Me getting involved with or accepting a content collaboration doesn't mean I now become a worker for someone else. I'm not a worker for someone else. We're going to collaborate, and you're using my IP, my gift, in order to make something. And then obviously I have to see something very valuable you're bringing to the table to up-level me as well. And so I haven't found the right deal that I say said yes to, because I have that wherewithal. I have that business acumen. I see. I see 20 steps ahead. And as an owner, it's a no. It's an absolute no. And that's why I want you to think about, as someone who may be creating content and using these platforms, start thinking about it from a business perspective. What if somebody changed the rule? Right now, with how I'm doing things right now, what if someone changed the rule? Will all of your stuff disappear? If someone just comes in and changed the rule, forget that you have violated something that may be in place. But if they just changed it, let's just give example. Maybe they changed what can be actually communicated on their platform. And it's something that you communicate to the world. If a rule change and your income disappears, you're not running a business. You're operating inside somebody else's system that tolerates you as long as you serve their system. Ownership mindset. I'm not judging platforms, and I'm definitely not judging anyone who hasn't up to this point thought about it from this way. What I am doing is telling you now to do the math. Let the math, add 1 + 1 = 2. And now you have been elevated, and let us rethink and do things differently. Go back, look at the terms of the different platforms you're on, and just know, be aware. Even if you can't negotiate, it's best to be aware. And that's ownership mindset, awareness. We can't just operate in ignorance of I don't know, and I'm just doing. Operate in awareness. Look ahead of time of what will happen if my page is hacked, or if it is taken down by false claims against me. What is my recourse? What are my rights? Know all those things ahead of time. Who would I contact? Don't think about those things when something happens and now you're scrambling and it's 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, things are down. You already know immediately when it's happened, I know where to go. That's ownership mindset. You're thinking ahead. So platforms aren't villains. They're not. They're businesses. And to be honest with you, I don't care what platform we're using, whether we start with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They may tell us it was established for one thing. Oh, it's to pull everyone together, connect from across the world, old friends, new friends, family. It's for you to have visibility on everything that you're doing. It's for you to make money. What it is for you to be attracted to all those selling points to make these platforms popular, for them to make money. They are a business. For them to get advertisement dollars, whether it's directly from you because they push us content creators to do advertisement and we have to pay them for advertisement, or if it's big conglomerates, companies that's paying to have their stuff advertised because there's so many people on the platform. Either way, they're a business. So they're going to tell you what they need to do, what they need to tell you for you to do what you need to do for them to get what they need to get. And businesses optimize what? For themselves. So you have to make sure while you're using a business, you're optimizing for yourselves, that you're putting yourself in that position to not just be in a system. Their platforms do not exist just for you, just for me. They don't exist to protect creators. That's not what it's for. Can you imagine if it was? You're protecting so many million, like so many people that's using it. It's not there to protect you. So that means you're there to protect you on these platforms that you are actually using. So please, creators, don't confuse popularity on these platforms with partnership. This is not a partnership between you and YouTube. I don't care how many people receive the YouTube plaques and all the good things, go to the YouTube award events. Those who have really elevated and have direct contact with certain people on YouTube. I don't care all, but it's not a partnership. I don't care how popular you get. It is a congratulations the higher we get. It is acknowledgement because it helps them. And it also helps to keep you attracted, you engaged, but it's not a partnership. At least for most, if any, if it is a partnership for anyone, they went outside of the norm and did an actual partnership deal. I hope, right? Actually did a partnership deal where they're speaking in detail about the difference between just using the platform and becoming partners and not just participants. So that is huge. So that's another point I just want you to think about. None of this is hidden. It's all written for you to see. I'm not your partner. We are a business. How many times have we have gotten upset when we just see, right? Just see. Oh, we rolled out a new, not a new policy, but a new feature. We rolled out a new feature, and this is what we did. And we automatically opt you in. If you don't like this new feature we rolled out, then you can opt out. You're told sometime, and sometime you're not even told. You have to go find out behind the scenes. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Location sharing. Oh, whoa, whoa. My content can be remixed just by posting. I'm agreeing that the content I make by using your platform and posting, that is an agreement that my content can now be remixed by other people without my permission unless I opt out of it. All these things are done. Those terms and services are not a contract, a two-way contract. It's a contract of you understanding what you already given permission to by using these platforms. So think like an owner. Think like an owner. Because whether you agree to these terms or not, if you ignore them or not, that's what they are. You don't have to sign a thing. You just need to use the platform. And using the platform actually means you did sign it. You clicked and you agreed. And once you understand this, right, we start to move into 2026 and beyond as not just consumers, but truly, by every sense of the word, creators. Creating and owning. Not creating an access, not creator and popularity, not creator and fame, creating and owning, and using these platforms as leverage to do what we're doing, not depending on the platforms to do what we do. There's a complete difference when it comes to ownership mindset, and that is ownership mindset. So what does it actually look like? That's what I want to talk about before I close out. What does it look like when we're talking about creating and using, creating an access versus creating ownership? I've been saying it throughout, but let's pull it all together. What it looks like is if you sit and you assess what you have going on out of all the platforms that you have going on. If you assess and you are able to sit down and say, I can survive without them, you have worked out a plan for ownership. If you have said, if I get off YouTube, I can survive without YouTube. If I get off Instagram, I can survive without Instagram. Twitter, TikTok, we went bananas. So many people went bananas with that whole situation with TikTok. Not knowing if TikTok was going to be completely taken down or not, coming back or not. People went crazy. I'm losing everything. Oh my gosh, no, TikTok, don't go away. Don't TikTok. We can't lose TikTok. We can't lose TikTok. You have to ask yourself honestly, does it put you in a frenzy? Or can you thrive without it? Can you redirect without it? Do you already have, even if you don't have access to every single one, do you have access to a good amount of people where you can continue to build from there and it spreads and the word spreads? It doesn't completely shut down everything. Ask yourself as a creator, do I have to chase algorithms? Ask yourself, do I have to just depend on these income streams. If these streams stop, I'm in trouble. Just these income streams. Uh, do I panic because there is a policy change? Will I have to do something from a place of urgency, an emergency? If you're answering in the positive to all of those things as you're assessing how you're using these platforms, then we're not looking like ownership. We're looking like access. We're not looking like responsible business professionals who have a gift to create, and our gift is making room for our business and our life. If you are someone who is completely building your brand separate from platforms, platforms are just a part of the equation, not the answer. It's a part of that equation, and you're building a whole brand outside of it. And people will say, hey, I want to go over here to check out so and so, but I also know I can go over here. Or as a matter of fact, I'm locked in with so and so right here. And being locked in with so and so right here, I know so and so also has this and has that. But I'm locked in no matter what happens and where this person goes, I'm locked in. If you are at a point, like I said, where I had people coming to me, if you're at a point where you have discussions where you're licensing something versus just participating on something, you're now talking about ownership. And you can make those decisions. You can assess those opportunities clearly until you know what's the best fit for you. I'm not just joining a platform. I will license. And when I license, I have to find great value in that licensing deal, or it's a no for me. I'm doing great. So are you in a position where you can license your content intentionally and not just use something to put your content on, and there's no licensing, there's just blind dependence? Can you control your distribution off the platform? There's times that I've personally reviewed deals on platforms where they said, if you use this platform, then you are locked into using this platform for however that long that duration is. I've seen up to a year, 2 years. You're using this platform exclusively. You can't use other platforms. And if that's what someone want to accept, okay, but you're losing some portion of ownership. And it has to make sense. But can you license your content intentionally and also control your distribution off of whatever platforms you're using? So use visibility to build assets. If you're using visibility to build assets versus using visibility to just become popular, ownership. Ownership. And having these ownership conversations, especially for creative, because our mind we're wired on a different side of our brain. We want that left side. We don't want to focus on the map, the right side, mathing, linear. We just want to create. We want freedom. All this other stuff is interrupting. It's messing with my creation. It's killing my vibe. I rather us think about this stuff, talk about this stuff where it feels boring at first. Okay? And your vibe may be killed for the moment in creation, but your creation's not killed. And you're building new life, and we're doing things differently. As these years are changing, we're not doing things the old way. How YouTube started is not where YouTube's going. How IG started is not where IG's going. And the list goes on. So you need to move just as much, and we need to do it better. So boring doesn't last, but not having an ownership mindset and keep making a decision the way that you're making the decision can last, can completely destroy all of the work that you've put in and what you're trying to do, and having to reinvent yourself. And it doesn't matter to reinvent yourself if you don't get this part, because you're just going to reinvent yourself in the same manner. So creators who are picking up what I'm putting down, creators who understand this, creators who decide, oh, wow, yes. And all the videos I'm listening to on how to create more and attract more people and get in the algorithm and get more clicks and get more subscribers, out of all those videos, I now need to listen to, why am I doing that? And what would I do with that once I do it? Oh, I am a business professional who can create. So if you are a creator who understands that building a business will continue to last and still exist, even when trends move on, you got it. You got it. That's the point. You are now on an ownership level of thinking while using your gift to create. This is what I do. It is great real estate, but don't let it be something where you don't own the land in which you are building your house. Own it all. Understand that. Know how to pivot. Know this is your asset. This is your intellectual property. This is yours. While we're thinking about making money, monetizing, getting brand deals, you're already sitting on the gold. You're already sitting on the gold, intellectual property. Handle that with care and responsibility. And stop detaching yourself from it as if it's just a thing, a fad. This is huge. You have IP. Respect it and handle it well as a business professional who can create. So no matter what happens to the creator economy, as an IP owner, you'll be able to adjust. So if it ever does crash, if it ever does make a big pivot, if it ever does whatever it do, whatever happens as we move forward and all these changes and iterations of so many different things, it will expose who built businesses and who built visibility. That's what's going to happen. And after listening to this, I hope and trust, as someone who has sought out elevation, you're going to be on the side that when everything is exposed, at any time is exposed, you're going to be on the side that I built a business and not just visibility. That's the point. So don't let your brand live or be built where you can't control anything. Don't let your brand be built in a space that you're just occupying, where that space can be revoked, reclaimed by whoever. So ownership is anti-dependency. It's structure. It's structure. Ownership doesn't have to fight. It doesn't have to just survive. It thrives. Straight to the point, sweet today, but I had to put that out, especially since I am now completely immersed in this space of creation. This is for my content creators, my influencers. But again, even if you are not creating content in a way where you are really concerned about these platforms, copy, paste this information in whatever you do. Never just occupy space. Never just use your IP in any space you're in without respecting it, protecting it, and operating at the highest level with it. It is your gold. It is your gold. Thank you for tuning in to another segment of Seek Elevation. Remember, the more you know, the more you grow. The more you learn, the more you can earn. I give you information that not just to learn it, not just to hear it, but to do something with it, so that way you can earn more in life, whether it's from a financial perspective, opportunity, earn more opportunities, whatever perspective. The more you learn, the more you can earn. But when you share, you show care. So please share this, especially share this with content creators, up and coming, those who have already built, who may not be thinking from that side of their brain. Don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Spread the wisdom. Tag a friend. Yeah, it's important. And before I finally close out, like I said, you are creating IP. Intellectual property, especially if you are using content that's used nationally, should be protected at the highest level possible. So you want to make sure that you are federally protecting your copyrights. My podcast, federally copyrighted. I make sure of that. My podcast name, federal trademark. I register my podcast name to be federally protected on all levels, whether it's the copyright for the content or federally protecting my trademark for the brand. That's operating like a business owner, not just a content creator. Not at all. So if you are in this to win it, make sure you are doing that at that level. Doing that at that level. I even have DIY trademark course that walks you through how to federally protect your trademark. For those who say I don't want to be walked through it. I don't have the time. I'm putting all of my hours into creating my content. I don't have the time to take the course. It is very detailed course. I get it. Not only do I have a 4-part video to literally walk me through step by step from application to clearance search to all that, and a book, over 100-page book to walk me through. I know I got all that, but I have to put all my time, energy, and effort into creating this content. I need someone to do it for me. I have a premium trademark service to make sure you're protected at the highest level too. I don't just talk this, I walk this. As I said, look up Seek Elevation. You will see it on the federal USPTO trademark database to be federally protected nationally. Look up Seek Elevation at the Library of Congress. You will see that my podcast content is copyrighted. And I'm here to help whoever gets it. Whoever's waking up and say, oh, you're right, Elakisha, I am a business professional who creates content. And although I will use all of my creativity and pouring out the content, I'm going to make sure I handle my business. Let it be done. So until next time, I want you to keep striving. I want you to keep growing. And most importantly, I want you to keep seeking elevation. Keep seeking it. Let's keep going. Every week, tune in here. Peace and progress.